The world in awe, as did Mary Lou not so long ago. Today we meet Kim Zmeskal, who may well become the greatest American gymnast in history. With dreams of Olympic gold, the world and U.S. national champion comes here to Columbus to win a third consecutive U.S. crown, coached by the same Bella Caroli that gave us Mary Lou and Nadia. Zmeskal's teammate and the woman who won silver last year at Nationals. Carrie Strug carries with her the medal to crush Kim, the two teammates vaulting onto a collision course with only the gold medal held in the balance. The hopes and dreams of Betty Aquino dashed at the hands of yet another injury. She will spend today at home. The line between success and failure is fragile indeed. Shannon Miller is here in body and spirit, but today only the spirit is willing following elbow surgery only weeks ago. For Shannon, it's the road back to a healthy body and oh so close to the Barcelona Games. In their stead, a collection of fresh, precious faces may well surprise. Amanda Borden, Dominique Dawes, Hillary Grivich, Michelle Campy, and Kim Kelly. We begin our journey to Barcelona, and Kim Zmeskal leads the way. Is she the next Nadia? Is she the next Mary Lou? Campus of Ohio State University, Columbus, Ohio, for the National Gymnastics Championships. Today, we bring you the final of the women's all-around competition. Hello again, everybody. I'm John Tesh, and prior to the Summer Olympic Games in Barcelona, there are two very important events for these American athletes. The Olympic Trials, the weekend of June the 12th, which you'll see right here on NBC Sports, and this event, the National Championships. The way this works today is the top 12 finishers among the women will advance to compete in the trials, so that puts the event in perspective for you. Joining me right now with expert commentary, Elfie Schlegel. Elfie, the #1 woman in the world gymnast right now is an American, Kim Zmeskal.
Well, Kim Zmeskal, with her new world title, certainly has great expectations, and that is to win every single competition that she enters between now and Barcelona. And John, she's on quite the roll. She's already picked up 2 more world titles at the recent World Event Championships in Paris, and that puts her in excellent standing for Barcelona, but also here at the championships. Now, she won't be challenged by Betty Aquino or Shannon Miller. They are both out of the competition, but the name to watch for is Carrie Strug, and she gave her quite the battle in last year's championships.
And we have learned this weekend that those 2 injured athletes will find a way to the trials because of a ruling by the U.S. Gymnastics Federation.
Well, what the rules state is that they can petition right through to the trials, and basically those trials are so important they count 100%.
So we will have our best athletes at the trials.
Yes,
all right, Elfie. Our other expert, Olympic gold medalist Tim Daggett, a man who has been in this position before. Let's put this event in perspective again. We have the national championships and the trials. How important are those 2 events prior to Barcelona?
Well, you know, John, it's really the entire time period. It's this whole time, the championships, the trials, everything leading up to the Olympic Games. It is probably the most intense period that these young athletes will ever subject themselves to. Everybody has trained their entire lives for this one moment. It's where dreams are won and lost, so there's a lot riding on this time period.
Back to the subject of injuries among the women. Let's go down to Beth Ruyak, who's on the gym floor.
Thanks, John. What's been on everyone's lips and minds and echoes through every competition is that this is the best women's team the USA has ever had. And the expectations of these young women intensified after they brought home the silver team medal from the World Championships. And so here we are, 2 months away from Barcelona, and what's amazing is that the story now is suddenly different. It's about Betty Aquino, the 4th best gymnast in the world who's not here because of a back injury. It's about Shannon Miller, who won compulsories yesterday, but is not competing today because she wants to give more time to an elbow injury. And it's also about 2 other potential Olympians, Dominique Dawes and Hillary Grivich, who are also spending time dealing with some minor injuries. Have these women found, at least temporarily, a limit to the physical and mental intensity that they can endure? Shannon Miller knows the time is now, striving for a dream that must be fulfilled. Her only menace, the elbow surgery and that telltale scar. Can she work through the pain? Can she be that strong? Shannon came to Columbus to prove her worth now more than ever. And that she did, just enough to let everyone know how strong she really is. She burst through the compulsories with spectacular poise, a true challenger for the national throne. By the end of the day, she was in first place. Would the momentum continue? Would she compete in optionals tomorrow?
Gorgeous, gorgeous. Hey, that was beautiful.
Shannon, if he asks your opinion, do you want to go for it or not tomorrow?
Yeah, definitely.
When tomorrow came, Shannon's spirit, still high from the thrill of yesterday, was saying, let's do it again. But there was a lot more to consider. So this morning, as the others awaited her decision, Shannon practiced her full optional routines for the first time since her surgery just 5 weeks ago. Just like last night, her elbow looked strong, but maybe that wasn't enough.
If
The way of fleet is pressed.
we'd be in them, and we would qualify for the team. And, but I want to give Shannon every opportunity to not only be in the trials, but to win the trials. Why would you ever want to go into something that you're just not quite ready for?
And so the decision was made.
This fine young lady right here is going to scratch to you.
Okay.
And we want to make sure that you have the rotation squared away so it wouldn't take up your time.
Okay. Well, thank you for letting me know.
All right?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
And I got an official acceptance into the trials, and so, in writing, so we'll see you at trials. We'll sit and watch. If you need us, we'll be
Congratulations on your first place finish at compulsory. Okay.
All right,
Well,
thanks. Thank you.
Shannon Miller with her coach, Steve
All
Nuno.
right, let's go on in.
That was then, and now that puts Kim Zmeskal in first place.
But the strange thing is, John, that no matter what Kim Zmeskal does here today, and Bella Caroli knows this, Shannon... And this has got to have Bella concerned, to say the least, going into the trials and the momentum that all of that will have leading down the road to Barcelona. Shannon Miller may very well have served notice that she may be the one to win the gold at the Olympics.
The compulsories, and again, Shannon Miller with that injury is out, so Kim Zmeskal, two-time defending champion, is the athlete to beat. Vault, uneven bars, balance beam, and floor exercise. Very close. It's not necessarily in that order that the women will compete here in the optionals. Dominique Dawes standing 8th after the compulsories, and I remember last year, guys, on the floor exercise at Nationals, she brought the house down. Before that, not a lot of people knew who this athlete was, but she has a good chance for the Olympic team.
Now, last year was her coming out party. This year, a totally different situation. The World Championships last year, she missed out on that experience, but this is her time, a chance, as you said, John, to make the Olympics.
Here's the vault.
I can't think of a better event for Dominique to start things off with. This Marcus, your Chenko full, but as
Latin class.
Slightly offside, and we'll get a good chance to see that in the replay. The whole vault was very well executed, but right there, you can see she's moving well over to the right. That is a slight deduction.
Waiting for her score, 6 judges, the high and low will be thrown out. A 9.8 for Dominique. Now, the ladies get 2 chances at the vault.
Score. It'll certainly keep her in the top 6, but it's not the type of score that'll contend with a Kim Zmeskal.
Again, she's 8th after the compulsories. They count 60%. These optionals count 40%. Here's her second vault. Took a step there.
Well, John, that was the same vault, obviously not as well performed as the first one, and at this level of competition, you really need to zero in on those landings.
There's a score for the second vault, a 9.75, and you can see it on her face. At this level of competition, a 9.8, which is the score she'll keep, will not keep her in contention against the likes of Hillary Grivich. Grivich, who is also coached by Bella Caroli, like Kim Zmeskal, grew up just around the corner from Bella's ranch.
Hillary's been in these pressure situations before. She was part of the silver medal team that won at the '91 World Championships, but I'm really curious to see how she'll handle this vault. She's had a shoulder injury and has been having problems all week. She got nothing off that horse. Her legs were severely tucked and not a strong vault for Hillary.
Stronger. Little bit quicker here on that.
And the burly, arm-waving bear that is Bella Caroli, always in there.
And, you know, he's talking about the connection.
Usually, I assume...
Talking about that connection. Arms to the horse faster so she can get a better bounce off of the horse.
Tim, what he's also saying is to go for the higher difficulty, which is in a layout position. The first vault she performed was not out of a 10-0.
9.75 on that first vault. Hillary stands in.
As I mentioned before, she's been having problems even up until the 3-minute warm-up just prior to this competition. She was actually missing her hands on the horse.
Very good.
Okay, you heard Bella say very good. It was a much better vault, higher degree of difficulty, but still it was a little flat, not a lot of height.
When it doesn't work, they hear about it. When it's better, they hear about it.
John, I have to wonder if the shoulder was bothering her on this vault. She doesn't get a lot of block, as I mentioned. Look at the left arm right there. A lot of bend. She barely touches the horse with her right arm, which causes the limited height.
Waiting for her score for her second vault, and a 9.8. Better than that 9.75, and so both Hillary and Dominique.
Looking for the remote control.
Two-time national champion looking for her third title. She will be up next on the vaults. We'll be right back. The machine that is 16-year-old Kim Zmeskal, two-time national champion, the first American to win a world championship all-around title. Getting ready for her vaults and coached, of course, by Bella Caroli, the same man who gave us Nadia Comaneci and Mary Lou Retton.
You have to be wondering what's going through Kim's mind. You mentioned that she's the world champion. She's expected to win everything in sight between now and Barcelona, but she is right on track. You know, John, it does not get much better than that. That is basically textbook perfect.
Look at Bella. I think she stunned him. That's not easy to do.
She has improved on this event since the World Championships last year. Look at that. Everything is straight down the line, perfect execution, and she sticks the landing.
A perfect 10. Kim Zmeskal with her 7th perfect 10 in her career. And she's going to vault again. See if she can get 2 here. Was that better than the first one?
No. That was something. That was something.
And the question is Bella Caroli holding the next Olympic champion?
She definitely put a stamp on this one. And the importance here is she is a true contender for the all-around title in Barcelona. She just nailed 2 in a row.
Here's a replay usually reserved for coaches who watch their team win the Super Bowl. An isolated camera on Bella Caroli after that vault. Another 10. Kim Zmeskal with another perfect score on the vault. And congratulations from her teammate, Hillary Grivich.
Better be 10.
As Bella with his wife, Marta Caroli, who was the balance beam coach.
Not kidding.
And now it's time for Carrie Strug. So Bella switches gears.
Steady caution, everything. Is that right? Nothing. All right. And looking for the landing, looking in. A little bit forward over there and on moving. Right.
This is the young lady who challenged Kim Zmeskal for the national title last year. Made it very close. And so now, wise old veteran Zmeskal watches a woman who could knock her out of this championship or could take the gold away from her in Barcelona.
Well, Carrie is the national champion on vault, but there's one thing she has yet to learn that Kim has already mastered, and that is that mental confidence, that focus that she uses on each and every apparatus.
A lot of new talent out here today. 15-year-old Amanda Borden on deck for her vault. First, it's Carrie Strug. 14 years old, moved to Karolyi's gym in December of 1989. It was a real hardship for her family. Her mom gets to see her about once a month.
Well, you heard a wow from Bella, and it was extremely high. She got a lot of lift off that horse. The same type of vault we've been watching all the women perform so far today. Incredible lift off the horse. Take a look at the block right there. Beautiful lines, nice and high. Just that hop on the landing is really going to hurt her score.
Score from the 6 judges, a 9-9. Excellent score for Carrie Strug. She's in 4th, entering the optionals, and scores like that could move her up nicely. Preparing for her second vault now.
Again, a second beautiful vault, but as we mentioned, what it's going to take to score those perfect 10s, as we saw Kim do, is stick the landing. Everything else was really well done.
Next on the vault, waiting for Carrie Strug's second score on vault, and a 9-9, the same as her first. So 4th after the compulsories, that should work well for her. Amanda very much in the same position as Carrie was last year at the Nationals. A virtual unknown. This is her first national championship.
I was waiting to see what Amanda was going to do. In warm-ups, John, she performed 2 different vaults, and she chose to go with the easier ones.
Vault, but the hop is going to be a problem, so I think that we really need to see what the score is on this vault and make a decision.
Well, what her coach, Mary Lee Tracy, was talking about is this vault's only out of a 9.9. That's the maximum she can score. Obviously, she can't even come close to Kim. And you can see a big hop on her landing is going to be a deduction.
Let's see what happens with her score, and yeah, 9-6. So a heavy deduction on not a very difficult vault. Question now is, what's the strategy? Do you do the same vault? Do you go with the more difficult one?
Well, I think what I would do is stick with the same vault. She was having a lot of problems with the more difficult vault. And I think at this point in time, Amanda really wants to make this team.
Better.
Yeah.
Much better.
She does just that. The strategy paid off for her. It was a great vault.
You called it and you did it. Good job. Stay this way the whole time. I mean, you were so focused. You made a decision and you went for it. That was awesome.
Well, that's something you would never hear from Bella Karolyi. He makes all the calls. He makes the decisions.
Amanda made this one, and it was the right one. A 9.75 for her on the vaults. Moving across the floor now to balance beam. This is Michelle Campy. We remind you that there are 4 exercises going on at once here, 4 disciplines. She is in 3rd place after compulsories. And again, another face you may not have seen. The balance beam, we remind you, is 4 feet high and 4 inches wide.
Michelle is an interesting story. She actually did not make the World Championship team last year. She was the 3rd alternate, but basically she performed in all the practices leading up to the championships, and she had the look that Bella wanted.
And what Bella wants, I don't need to finish that.
Big skills for her opening line. What you'll notice in Michelle's routine is she's not only a beautiful dancer, but she'll take advantage of her flexibility and her long lines.
Michelle's aunt is a former ballet dancer, and she says she gets her balletic style.
That was a major break. That connection was supposed to be much tighter. You know, on balance beam, you have to keep an even flow, and when you have major breaks like that, the judges are just going to kill you. That's what she does so beautifully. She takes advantage of her flexibility, and there was a great display of that. Moving right into another acrobatic skill. All that's left is her dismount, and with the one mistake already, she really has to nail this dismount. No, it just did not happen today. This is routine Michelle's really going to have to work on towards the trials.
And remember, not only a national championship at stake here, but only the top 12 women at the championships will advance to the Olympic trials. A whole lot at stake. 9.525.
John, at this level of competition, that score is a disaster. That is going to drop her severely.
Already one perfect 10 on the vault. What does Kim Zmeskal have in store for us on the uneven bars? When she was a little girl, she used to jump on the trampoline and pretend she was Mary Lou Retton. Now little girls all over America pretend they are Kim Zmeskal, two-time national champion, and she is our leader after one rotation, followed by another Karoli girl, Carrie Strug. And now Zmeskal readies herself for her uneven parallel bars routine.
In the past, uneven bars has definitely been Kim's weakness, but one thing she has improved on, that is she's much more aggressive on this apparatus, and she has improved her release skills. Coming up is her first major release move. Beautiful height, but she was far too close to the bar. That stopped her momentum when she got to the low bar. That's her second release skill. Now watch the height on her dismount. This is what Kim is so well known for.
Every time Kim Zmeskal does anything, this crowd just goes crazy. But look at Bella. He is nowhere near as excited after that bar routine as he was when Kim vaulted.
Well, let's take a look and see what went wrong here.
Well, this was Kim's first release skill. Now she takes it way up in the air, but almost hangs on a little bit too long. Just a tad bit, she almost hits the bar. No problems at all with this second release skill called a Tkachev. That's something Kim will need definitely in Barcelona. And then she moves into a very beautiful dismount. She gets a lot of height on this skill. One of the best dismounts I've ever seen. Way up in the air, looks for the ground, a small, uncharacteristic hop.
Let's see what the judges. 9.675. Not Kim Zmeskal quality of a score. Moving over to the floor exercise, the lady who is in third place after the first rotation of 4 is Michelle Campy.
Well, Michelle has a lot of work to do. This is a chance for her to regroup. She had a tough balance beam routine, but what you'll see in this floor exercise routine is a beautiful balletic style. Everything's going well so far. Michelle opened up with a very strong full twisting double back, but this tumbling pass is extremely important for her.
Oh, lose a tenth of a point if you step out. She just about landed out there.
Here's her final pass.
Fifteen-year-old Michelle Campy had some problems on the balance beam, and that probably wasn't the best performance that she had in her on the floor exercise.
Well, it's not all about dance, John. It is only 50% of this routine. The other 50% is made up of the 3 long tumbling passes. She was very aggressive, but she did have problems, and here was the big one right there. She almost lost it.
Score is up, a 9.475. Another disappointment for Michelle, and that takes her really out of the running for second place. against this woman, Carrie Strug, in that position, trailing her teammate, Kim Zmeskal, who's in first. It was 1 year ago when Strug was challenging for the gold medal. Very, very tight race with Zmeskal. And in a controversial move, Karolyi had Carrie take out a very important part of her routine. Many people think it cost her a chance for the gold.
And that important part of her routine was a complete change in her dismount. There's her first release skill. Now coming up is her second. It's a new one for Carrie. Same as Kim Zmeskal. Oh, much better performed. And this is the dismount she took out last year. Full twisting, double back.
And a much different reaction from her coach, Bella Karolyi, than the one he had for Zmeskal.
That's supposed to look like they repeat. Oh, yeah. No, that's not supposed to be. No.
That's what it's supposed to look like, he says. We'll wait for her score. We'll be back. Carrie Strug's score for uneven bars is up a 9.75.
Well, that score is way too low. There's no way that score reflects that wonderful routine.
Better than Zmeskal's 9.675, and that should tighten things up a little bit in the competition.
That can happen during the championship now, then the hell with it.
Uh-oh, Bella is over at the scores table.
All right, so give me a paper.
What he's actually doing now is filing a protest.
What they have to put here? Put the name and put Karolyi's, okay?
You know, I think he's not only upset about Carrie, but Kim's score. And frankly, I can see it for Carrie, but Kim had some definite faults in her exercise.
Yeah, you're right, Tim. He is talking about Kim. But it doesn't look like it's over just yet.
That is more than anything else. More than anything else. He was by 3 weeks ago on the World Championship. He's appreciated on 9.675. On the same panel, what Lester, they made fun of us. Yes, I put you on the panel is totally incompetent. That's my Strug, what they deducted from Carrie Strug, I want to see. Okay, well, turn it to...
Yeah, he is talking about both of these athletes.
That's more than...
Paul, do you have an inquiry? Who's got it?
Bella is making the inquiry to Mike Jackie. He's the executive director of the USGF.
Here's Strug's replay again.
And this is exactly what he was talking about. This was performed perfectly. Wonderful release move. There was absolutely nothing wrong with that skill. And then her dismount, this was outstanding. She was sky high. Look at the twist in the air, well above the high bar. Knees locked together, and she nails the dismount.
And so the protest is being filed. See the word incompetent there if you look closely. I mean, we've seen this before from Bella. He does not let anything get by him. So it appears to be over for now. For now. There's Bella's girls. Kim on the left, Carrie on the right. 1 and 2. Amanda Borden, here is a fresh face, in 5th place after the first rotation. Her first national championship. She has a local following here. She's from not too far away in Cincinnati. 2 years ago, she got Kim Zmeskal's autograph at an event. Now she's fighting to be on the same Olympic team.
She must be flying high. Can you imagine being in 5th place, having as little experience as she has had? This is beyond her wildest dreams.
Okay, one more. Let's be ready, baby. Come on. Good.
Great routine. She's just hit 2 routines in a row, and you can see her coach is extremely happy.
Everything except for the legs on the Ginger was very, very clean, very, very nice. Great on the dismount. Good job.
Her nickname is Pepsodent for that winning smile. You can see how she got it.
Well, you heard her coach, Mary Lee, talk about the legs on her Ginger, and this is exactly what she was talking about right here. You can see they're all over the place. This is something that Amanda really has to work on. She had a lot of skills. This is a really tough element right here, and she moves right into her dismount, probably the highlight of her routine right there.
Score for Amanda, A 9-7. And we've seen some low scores on the uneven bars lately. As you take a look at Shannon Miller, who, as we mentioned earlier, is out of this competition with an injury. She was first after the compulsories and opted to take herself out, she and her coach did, rather than injure herself, possibly so close to the Barcelona games. This is Kim Kelly, the oldest competitor that we've seen so far at 18 years old. She sets up for her vault.
Had a chance to talk to Kim before the competition, and she says this is her year. Things didn't work out for her last year at the championships, but with the Olympics right around the corner, she definitely wants to make that team.
Yes.
Definitely something Kim has to work on with steps like that. That is going to be very difficult, and that can often be the difference of making any team.
We'll wait for her score, but she has one more opportunity. Once again, the women get 2 vaults and take the higher of the scores. Kim has her work cut out for her. Here's another challenger, Dominique Dawes, who's getting ready for the uneven parallel bars. A lot of great talent out here, all trying to make the Olympic team. A 9.75 for her first vault. Kim has a scholarship waiting for her at the University of Alabama when she's finished with gymnastics. She would very much like to make that Olympic team.
Well, you can see her fight for the landing. She still had a major hop. There'll still be a deduction, but it was slightly better than the first. It's the same vault we've seen many of the women perform. Very popular, Yurchenko. You can see plenty of height. She pikes down a little bit too early, and that causes a bit of over-rotation.
A 9.8, a better score for Kim. So she's able to redeem herself on the vault. Next up is Dominique Dawes in 7th place after the first rotation. A young lady who's really out of the mainstream of gymnastics. She lives with her coach. Has been her... It's one way to get a drink of water. Has been very close to her coach, and her coach has really become her surrogate mom of sorts. She really just electrified the crowd at Nationals last year, and here is someone who does have a great chance to make our Olympic team.
As you mentioned, John, last year she wowed the audience on floor exercise. This is not an apparatus that she's known for, and I had a chance to talk to Kelly Hill, and she said she's put in a lot of work on this event. Well, this routine is much improved over last year. Obviously, all that hard work has paid off.
There's her coach, Kelly Hill, and now you know why her teammates call her Awesome Dawson.
There was a lot of twisting and turning. There's a giant full right on top of the bar. That's what made the difference in this routine. She only had 1 release skill, unlike Carrie and Kim, who had 2.
A 9.775 for Dominique Dawes, which is the highest score we've seen so far on the uneven parallel bars. Stay with us.
Sport has brought the world more thrills, drama, and emotion than gymnastics. Memories of Olga, Nadia, and Mary Lou are indelibly etched in our hearts and minds. Now, America's Kim Zmeskal, the reigning world champion, is ready to join her heroes. The Olympics this summer on NBC.
Bella Karolyi, Marta Karolyi, expatriate Romanians who have coached Nadia Comaneci and Mary Lou Retton, and now it's Kim Zmeskal and Carrie Strug, who are 1 and 2 after 2 rotations of 4 here at the National Gymnastics Championships. And these are 2 ladies who you will likely see in the Olympic Games. There are standings after 2 rotations. Kim Kelly in 3rd, Michelle Campy in 4th place, Amanda Borden and Dominique Dawes, all these athletes you've seen in our coverage here. And here is Michelle getting ready for her first vault of 2. She's in 4th place.
It's been a tough championship so far for Michelle. She had a rough time on the balance beam, tried to regroup on floor, so she really has to make up a lot of ground on vault, which isn't one of her strongest events. Well, she's short on that one as well. She's really going to have to come back strongly for her second vault.
Michelle with her coach Rick Newman, who used to work for Bella Karolyi, and Michelle used to train in the Karolyi gymnastics camp. One more vault for her. There's Kim Kelly, who's readying herself for her uneven bars routine.
Maybe next time you'll think.
9.775 on the first vault.
Well, she definitely needs to change a lot on the second vault. She's planning to do the same vault. Basically, she needs a little more height. She needs to stick that landing.
There you go.
Came out from, but that is exactly what she needed to do.
And she knows it, too. Look at that face.
Much more powerful. There's the round-off entrance onto the horse. Back handspring, clean in the air, full twist, and the very important perfect landing.
Only 14th at last year's Nationals, and a 9.9 for her second vault. Excellent score for Michelle Campy. Let's move over to the uneven parallel bars. Here's Kim Kelly in third place after 2 rotations. This is a scary event for her. She fell on it last year, right in her face. Watch this mouth.
Well, originality is what the judges are looking for, and she gave them exactly that. Very risky move.
Oh!
The routine was going so well. You know, this is shades of last year's championship.
She gets to get back up and finish her routine. You hear her coach, "I can't believe it," she says.
Come on, Kim.
She's got to finish it.
Whoa, big finish. What a way to finish. Full twisting double back. You know, that is so unfortunate. We talked to Kim before the competition, and she felt that this was her time.
She just let go too soon.
I heard her coach there saying, "You just let go too soon."
Timing.
Problems on the bar and beam last year prevented Kim from making it to the World Championships.
Are you trying reaching hard? Yes. I thought you had it.
She is as angry as she is disappointed.
What you practice is what you do. The timing can't change. And that was great. The giant hop was in it. Pass was a slight bit short, but not much, and the giant hop was excellent.
Let's see what happened here.
Well, you could hear Donna say the timing is everything, and the timing was not on this skill. She's probably performed it 1,000 times and hasn't missed it this badly. She did let go way too early. You can see fingertip control. She just could not hang on to it.
Here's another angle.
She sets it up quite well, but I think she just let go a tad bit early. Timing is everything on this event. She reached for it, but she just couldn't hang on.
Prior to that event, a 9.05. That is a disaster for her. In bronze position entering that exercise, and now Kim Kelly is going to have to fight hard just to stay in the top 4 or 5. Kim Zmeskal. There is the stare of a 2-time national champion. More gymnastics coming up after this word from your local station. It is springtime in Columbus, Ohio. We are here in Columbus today, the National Gymnastics Championships on the campus of Ohio State University in St. John Arena. Today we bring you the finals of the women's all-around competition. I'm John Tesh, along with Elfie Schlegel and Tim Daggett, our expert commentators. We're getting set to watch 2-time national champion Kim Zmeskal defend her title. And she is joined by the man who has helped bring her here, Bella Caroli. Nadia, Mary Lou were his students before Kim. Kim has already turned in a perfect 10 on the vault, and she is still in the process of decimating the field. She is ready for her balance beam routine.
Kim is the all-around world champion, but she's added a new title. Just recently in Paris, she picked up the world title on this apparatus.
This is one of the toughest competitors you will find anywhere. Last year, she defended her national crown with a stress fracture in her wrist.
She's getting set for her big acrobatic skill. Takes the entire length of the beam. Solid.
I think a lot of people were wondering how Kim would fare in international competition until she took the all-around title at the World Championships. We got a chance to see her against the best in the world.
And as I mentioned earlier, John, she picked up 2 more world titles, balance beam plus the floor exercise. I'd say her confidence level is at an all-time high leading into Barcelona.
Olympic trials, June 12th. She is certainly right on track, isn't she?
Well, this is a new skill, first performed at the American Cup. Again, she's right on. All that's left is the dismount. She is hot stuff, not just in terms of physical ability, but mental ability as well.
Congratulations there from Marta Caroli, the balance beam coach. Zmeskal has been unbeatable on 3 pieces of apparatus so far.
Good job. Good job.
This is Kim's trademark move. It's what she's so well known for all over the world. It's a press to handstand.
Make sure my step around.
She moves into a very unique skill called a planche.
Now, maybe this skill is done by a lot of athletes around the world, but she is so steady. She is like a rock on this every time.
The score from the 6 judges, high and low thrown out, a 9-9, 1/10 away from perfection for Kim Zmeskal with her teammate Carrie Strug. Stay with us. Welcome back to the National Gymnastics Championships. Carrie Strug, one of the Caroli girls, warming up, as well as one of her teammates, Kim Zmeskal, our 2-time national champion. At one time, there were 3 of these ladies. Both Strug and Zmeskal live and train together every day. But today, Zmeskal is no doubt missing her best pal, Betty Aquino. It's Aquino who has suffered the gymnast's fiercest competitor, the injury. With her talent and personality, Betty Aquino soared into the ranks of gymnastics elite. She even designed an original move on the balance beam known as the Aquino. Her name is whispered by aspiring gymnasts everywhere. In her dreams, she sees an Olympic gold. But her body has not allowed her the chance to reach her full potential. Plagued with constant pain, something all gymnasts fear.
Well, I feel scared for her because I know how much work she's put into it, and also I'm scared for myself because, you know, it could happen to anyone. You know, injuries happen, and just a lot of times there's nothing you can do about it. But, you know, I'm just praying for Betty and praying for everybody else that she can get through this.
For the 2nd year in a row, Betty's teammates are at nationals without her. They're filled with competitive energy, while Betty is at home, quietly healing her back.
It's hard. I think that's probably the hardest part during workout, seeing them get all the attention, and I'm over in the corner trying to do whatever I can, but not getting that much attention. It's tough, but it'll push me to all the more to get better sooner so that I can get the attention too.
She has a decent work ethic, but never goes to the extent to put enough intensity on her preparation to overcome some minor problems, you know, like build up, you know, her physical endurance, physical strength, to extend to can hold hard landing, to can, you know, overcome, you know, minor injury problems or prevent mostly the injuries, which always been and always will with her one of the problems.
Bella Caroli has been down this road before. Few people know that Mary Lou Retton had knee surgery only 6 weeks prior to the 1984 Olympics. Her strength and character guided her back along the path to a gold medal.
I thought to myself, I have made it this far. I have sacrificed so much. I've moved away from home. I've done all this. I've got to try. You know, nobody's going to put limits on me. I can't live the rest of my life thinking that I gave up at this point. I feel for Betty. Her career, I mean, she's a beautiful gymnast. She was really just real pleasant to watch. She has just had injury after injury after injury. I mean, we're not talking a little broken finger, we're talking big injuries. And anytime you lay off, you lose time.
So Betty now has to make up that lost time and is working on regaining strength of body, strength of mind. As Mary Lou says, Betty's still entitled to her Olympic dream. And next month at trials, everyone will be looking for Betty Aquino's smile again. And right now, the Romanian master, Bella Caroli, is looking at Carrie Strug. A lot of stress and strain put on these athletes' bodies, and sometimes you just don't make it. The Betty Aquino story is told over and over in many athletes' lives. Strug is healthy, but she knows, just like Zmeskal and the rest of them, that an injury can be only a moment away. She's ready for her balance beam routine You saw that graphic. She's in second place, just behind her teammate Zmeskal.
Carrie so far has been right on. She's hit 2 events, this being the third and perhaps one of the most difficult events for Carrie. You can see her taking just a little bit of time getting set up for her big acrobatic skill.
Stay, stay.
Bella willed her to stay on the beam at that moment.
You know, after the World Championships in Paris, Carrie said that it's frustrating to see Kim Zmeskal. She performs so well in competitions, whereas she feels she's better in practice than Kim is. Mentally, it's the biggest obstacle for Carrie.
Well, she'll put that mental power to test right here. This is a new skill for Carrie, the combination. Oh, that's a tough skill. The difference here, the American beams are square edges, whereas the European beams have a rounder edge, and obviously it hurts a lot more on a beam like this.
Clean round.
Just a dismount.
Round.
A step there.
Well, you can see Bella's not running up to her. He knows there were some severe flaws in this routine.
Ja, du didn't go for the back handspring either. You didn't go for the back handspring. Back handspring, yeah.
You know, what he's saying there is you didn't go for the back handspring. I think he's referring to that first acrobatic pass where she had that major wobble at the end. Here it is right here. It's a tough one. There are a lot of women performing this skill, but what makes the difference is right here, being able to just nail the landing. And you heard Bella earlier say, stay on, and you want to do what Bella says.
Or else. 9.65, which pretty much eliminates any challenge to Kim Zmeskal. But I can tell you one thing, we will see Carrie Strug on that Olympic team. Bet on it.
One athlete, just one, but all limits. At Texaco, we share that energy in all that we do. The energy to create innovative products like Haviland Formula 3 motor oil. The energy to lead the way in exploration, conservation, alternate energy. The energy to go as far as we can, and then go even further.
Sally Brown on the uneven bars.
No matter how well you plan, no matter how hard you try, there's always the possibility that something can go wrong. That's why nobody should be without the protection of a big, strong insurance company. MetLife. Get Met. It pays.
Coverage of the United States Gymnastics Championships in just a few minutes. But earlier today, we spoke with the woman who set the standards against which Kim Zmeskal's accomplishments will ultimately be judged. One-time Romanian star Nadia Comaneci now lives in Venice, California, tours with a professional gymnastics show, and appears throughout the Western world in underwear advertisements. We asked her about her memories of Montreal 1976 and Moscow 1980.
Well, there are very emotional moments that happened in 76 and also in 80. What I remember the best, I remember how excited the crowd was and how much support I received from everybody. And this a different feeling inside. When you compete, it's absolutely great.
And you created a whole new level of artistic accomplishment in the sport. What is your evaluation of the gymnasts of today, how good they are, compared to what you were doing in 1976 and 1980?
Well, I was good at my time, but they are unbelievably good now. The difficulty is very high, and there are a lot of great gymnasts today, and one of them, the world actual champion, is Kim Zmeskal, American, who is coached by my former coach, Bella Caroli. And when I look at them, how they perform today, they warm up with the things that I did in 76. This is just a warm up for them. It's like unbelievable difficult.
Kim Zmeskal follows, as you suggest, in the same path that you followed in 1976 with Bella Caroli, that Mary Lou Retton followed with Bella in 1984. How does she compare now in terms of her maturity and her ability to grasp all of this to what you were like in 76 or what Mary Lou was like in 1984?
I believe she will be 1992, Kim Zmeskal. And because I not only believe in her, but I believe a lot in Bella. Everything he is touching is like doing miracles.
Nadia tells us she had no idea what an impact she had made on American society in 1976. Only in the past few years of living here has she begun fully to appreciate that. For Zmeskal, of course, having been born and raised here in the United States, those pressures and privileges will be much more apparent. Right now, let's rejoin our coverage of the United States Gymnastics Championships.
Amanda Borden, 15 years old from Cincinnati, in 5th place, entering this, the 3rd rotation, has never competed overseas. From the look of things today, that may change. We may see her in Barcelona.
Well, Amanda is having quite a competition, and part of the reason might be this gym suit. Brandy Johnson gave her this suit for good luck, and it's definitely paying off today.
Same suit that Brandy Johnson wore when she was competing. She was on the 1988 Olympic team. You hear the music in the background there. There are 4 different disciplines going on at once here, and that is the floor exercise music.
Wow, that was a very big acrobatic skill. You know, the neat thing about Amanda is so much is happening for her here at the championship. She didn't have a chance to compete last year, and I think it's happening very quickly for her. Not only is she surprised, but so is her coach.
And she broke her elbow and pulled a hamstring last year. Once again, the perils of gymnastics. So many injuries, there's so much strain put on their bodies.
And just a little balance check right there. Now she has a very big dismount plan. It takes the entire length of the beam. Looks like she's tumbling on the floor. That's great stuff.
Competing in her first national championships, 15-year-old Amanda Borden from Cincinnati.
But she stayed on the beam. Amanda, I was a little nervous today about that routine. Glad you did the job, though. I'm so proud of you for hanging in there. It was a little shaky, but you did the job. Just one more to go, sweetheart. We got it. One more. We can do it.
Just a slightly different coaching approach there than we've seen from some of the other coaches on the floor.
Implying Bella Caroli, are you? Let's look at the replay.
This was a great acrobatic skill. She performs 2 back handsprings into a layout. What made it so difficult, it was done off of 2 feet.
Here's her coach's reaction on an isolated camera.
Oh, sigh of relief.
Amanda score a 9.6 on balance beam. So a real battle among the newcomers. We know what Kim Zmeskal and Carrie Strug are doing up there in the 1st and 2nd places, but Amanda and this young lady, Dominique Dawes, who's about to perform on balance beam, and another Caroli protege, Hillary Grivich, who will be up after Dominique on balance beam. All 3 of them looking to eventually make that Olympic team. The top 12 women in the nationals today will advance to the Olympic team, and Dominique Dawes needs a 9.625 to move into 5th place.
Dominique is quite capable of receiving a very high score on this event. She has tons of difficulty, and just don't take your eyes off of this routine because there's something very big in each of her lines.
Dominique was forced to withdraw from the World Team Trials last year with an injured heel. This is not the type of event you want to have an injured heel on. And look at her right ankle. You can see her heel is taped here.
She started off with a very big move, a great combination of layouts, but what makes this routine so unique, she does a variety of skills. Here's a very different look. Oh, what makes that so tough is it's a blind landing. Dominique can't see the beam until her feet actually land. You can see her take a little bit of a pause right there. She's setting up for something extremely big. One of the few women in the world to perform this dismount. It's very powerful and very difficult. Wow, now that is awesome.
A lot of pressure for this 15-year-old from Silver Spring, Maryland, but she really responded right there. Take a moment here and look at that front somersault one more time.
She handled this pressure in a big way. This is a great skill. As I said, a blind move. Really well done. Just a superb element. But the dismount is what really made this routine. I can't tell you how difficult this is on just 4 inches of balance beam. John, she looks like she's tumbling on floor exercise.
This is not her best event. That is yet to come, floor exercise, where she has in international competition scored a 10. 9-9 for the balance beam, Dominique. That, along with Kim Zmeskal's score, are the best scores today on beam. Bella Caroli patrolling the area, as always. A lot of stories about this guy, and here's one. Before every major event, he says he always finds a lucky penny. He did it before Nadia in Montreal, and it works for him every time, he says.
There is no competition where I'm going to don't find a penny. Now, through the years, of course, you know, I became very used with it, and also I became very comfortable with it because, you know, gave me a little, you know, moral support. Yes, I'm lucky. You know, if it is a lucky penny, we go for it.
Look what I found. Good luck.
The lucky penny story became a big story among everybody who I ever coached, and we always been really, really looking for those pennies before the competition, because we consider, you know, it's part of the luck, you know, what we have to carry with us into the competition.
Well, this time, Hillary Grivich found the penny. Does that count?
Immediately around it. We can pull it up.
Currently in 9th place. She's trying to hang in there, trying to make it to the Olympic trials. Grivich and Strug and Zmeskal, the top 3 athletes in the Caroli camp.
Well, hopefully some of that good luck will rub off on this balance beam routine. Hillary has to make up a little bit of ground. She's had a shoulder injury, and let's hope it doesn't affect her on this routine.
Like ice skating, this is one of those sports that requires a lot of time, rehearsal, and practice. Hillary's parents drive her 125 miles round trip each day to train in Houston with the Carolis. Tremendous family commitment.
You can see the look on her face. She's very determined to make it through this routine. I had a chance to talk to her before the competition. She says, I actually prefer the competition over training. It's a one-shot deal, and she loves that adrenaline rush.
Lest you forget, this thing is 4 inches wide.
She's right on. She's just hit another acrobatic skill. At this point, she's 3/4 of the way through the routine, and she's just fighting to move up into the top 6. Big dismount planned. Round off, back handspring, double back. That's a great set.
And remember, what is happening here is every one of these gymnasts, they are thinking about staying in that top 6. Top 6 goes into trials looking a little bit better, a little bit stronger chance of being on that team to Barcelona.
Yeah.
And in the judges' eyes, this was a routine worth noticing. A big dismount, the same as Amanda Borden's, covers the entire length of the beam, very strong. Overall, a clean routine.
Getting ready to see what the judges think about that routine. And a 9.775. And so doing the math, that will move Hillary up into 7th place. Stay with us. More gymnastics in a moment.
They've been called the greatest.
One more exercise left for each one of these athletes, and here are the standings. Zmeskal, Strug, And Michelle Campy in third place will now perform on the uneven parallel bars. Campy, a surprise addition to the world team last year.
Michelle really handled that pressure in Indianapolis last year. In fact, 7 of her 8 routines counted in the overall team score, so she is definitely looking for a spot in Barcelona.
The American team really showed their stuff, coming away with a silver medal for the team competition.
Well, she's completing all the skills that she needs, just the big dismount left, and she may just secure that 3rd position. That's a big dismount, full twisting double back, a little leg separation at the end, but she really nailed the landing.
Michelle Campy, whose career began in South Florida. One day she tagged along with her best friend to a free gymnastics class, and look at her here.
Well, they're required to do at least 2 skills on the low bar. She doesn't show a lot of difficulty here, but she does move very well throughout the entire routine and ends with a very big dismount.
Not a lot of high scores on the uneven P-bars, 9.775, so really nothing over 9.8 on the uneven parallel bars. Michelle Campy still in 3rd place. Carrie Strug getting ready for her floor exercise. As we mentioned, she moved to Caroli's gym in December of 1989, and her mom told us that she really lost her best friend when Carrie moved away. Dad is a heart surgeon. She wants to be a pediatrician.
Carrie is a much improved gymnast. This exercise, she's upgraded a lot of her tumbling skills.
2nd place, Gymnastics.
New for Carrie. We're seeing a less serious side here, and she's actually putting on quite a smile. A lot of changes in Carrie's routine, and here's the most critical change. She ends with a full twisting double back, and this is the type of move that she'll need in Barcelona.
14-year-old from Tucson, Arizona, Carrie Strug, who has spent the last year of her competitive career chasing Kim Zemeskal, getting very close each time.
No, that was nice. That was a good try. Good job, Carrie.
You know, Alfie, you mentioned the upgraded difficulty there with the full twisting double at the end. This is the end of the competition. Remember that, folks. This is her 4th event today. She went through compulsories the day before. She is exhausted at that point. It is so difficult to get that skill around.
And after 1 minute and 20 seconds worth of floor exercise, this is a tough skill to end with, but it's important in the judges' eyes to see as much difficulty being performed at the end of a routine as they opened with.
And to win the medals in Barcelona, they've got to do this difficulty because the former Soviet Union, they'll all be doing it.
The judges, 9.825 for Carrie Strug. Pepsodent Borden is next. Stay with us. John Tesh with Elfie Schlegel and Tim Daggett in Columbus, Ohio for the National Gymnastics Championships. We are in the heat of the women's all-around competition, the optionals, which count 40% of the total score, and there is the leader of the competition, Kim Zemeskal. She's won it twice before. She is the reigning world champion. She'll be competing on floor exercise coming up in a few moments. But first, on the floor exercise at this moment, she's never been to the Nationals before. Look at the poise. She's in 5th place and a chance to go on to the Olympic trials.
Amanda has survived 3 events. This is it, and I'm sure she hears her coach's words, stay focused.
She is having the meet of her life.
tumbling pass.
Come on, guys. You got it. Come on. Roll. Hit.
I disagree. It's only beginning. Isn't it terrific to watch a story like this unfold? A hug from Dominique Dawes. You'll see her next on floor exercise.
The showmanship was great in this routine, but tumbling is a very important factor, and that's one thing that was lacking here. You'll notice in this tumbling pass there was no twisting done at all, and that's something Amanda will definitely have to upgrade.
Who cares what the score is? The coaches are celebrating.
Oh, wow. I don't even care what the score is. I don't. She made it.
She made it big, too.
Oh, thanks.
Here we go. 9.775. A great score for Amanda Borden. A young lady on her way. Up next is Dominique Dawes, who has scored in the past a perfect 10 on floor X. You'll see her on floor exercise next, after this word from your local stations.
Saturdays at 6.
John Tesh, Elfie Schlegel, and Tim Dackett welcoming you back to Columbus, Ohio, a city, of course, named after the legendary explorer Christopher Columbus. There stands here a huge statue honoring him. A guy who set out to discover the New World about 500 years ago. Remember the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria? Well, there stands in the city a replica of the Santa Maria. By the way, Chris Columbus set sail from Barcelona 500 years ago. And here in St. John Arena stands Dominique Dawes, who is in 4th place. And I guarantee you everybody in this arena, including our current leader, Kim Zmeskal, knows how awesome Dominique Dawes is on the floor exercise. Kim will likely not be challenged by Dominique, but she certainly knows that she is one to watch in the future.
Dominique has made a statement today, and that is she is not just a one-event gymnast anymore. She should be taken as a very serious contender to make the U.S. Olympic team.
But this is her event. She has scored a perfect 10 in international competition on the floor exercise, and she tied Zmeskal, the current world champion, last year at the Nationals.
Dominique Dawes, the crowd is always with her. She is hot. She knows it. Let this woman on the Olympic team. She'll bring home a medal.
A brand new routine. The crowd definitely loved it, but I don't know if the judges will give her a 10. Kim Zmeskal is still to come. She's upgraded her difficulty in her tumbling passes. Actually, she's done some rearranging. This is brand new, a whip through to a full twisting double back. That's the same pass as Kim Zmeskal. And everyone loves this one. This is such a crowd pleaser. It's actually 2 in 1. double twist. Big surprise right here. She's not finished yet. She continues on to a very difficult double back. That's a lot of tumbling.
Here's a replay of Bella watching, someone who's not on his team. Yes, nice. Okay, very nice.
He looks like he's helping her along as well.
A 9-9. Ooh, the crowd is not like that. They were looking for a perfect 10. I think Dominique will take the 9-9. Excellent performance. A scary performance when you consider what the other athletes just saw. Here's a replay of what Kim Zmeskal looked like during her routine.
And what are those eyes thinking of right there? Maybe, gosh, if this kid makes the Olympic team, I'm the current world champion. Can I beat that?
More gymnastics coming up.
She's had her sights set on the Olympics since age 6. Now 4'7", Kim Zmeskal towers above the gymnastics world as America's first world champion. Can she join her idol, Mary Lou Retton, as the only Americans to win the Olympic all-around title? Kim Zmeskal, one to watch this summer on NBC.
Whip. Keep them grounded, okay?
Not sure what language they're speaking, but it seems to be working for Hillary Grivich. Getting some advice from Bella Caroli, which she never runs out of, by the way. Here is Kim Kelly. One more exercise for her. She stands in 6th place. She had a disappointing fall on uneven bars. She has fallen on this apparatus before.
You know, Tim mentioned earlier in the show how important it is to enter the Olympic trials in the top 6. And Kim is sitting in that crucial spot right now. This is a routine that could do it for her. She could maintain that position. Big skill right there, combination acrobatic skills of layouts. Now this routine is jam-packed with difficulty. She too has a lot of variety in this routine.
The oldest of the contenders today at 18 years old. A great student. She has a scholarship waiting for her at the University of Alabama in the fall, a gymnastics scholarship. She decided to postpone college for a year to concentrate on training. Kim wants to be an elementary school teacher when she gets out of school. She's actually teaching gymnastics to youngsters as she competes.
Getting set for the dismount. A little step on the landing, but overall, that was one of the most difficult beam routines we've seen today.
A relief at least for Kim, who had that disaster really on uneven bars. And here is Hillary Grivich, who's looking, of course, to knock her out of that 6th place position that Kim was in prior to her routine. Hillary is next on floor X, a 9.775 for Kim.
Well, this is a position that Hillary Grivich has to draw that international experience from, being a member of the World Championship team last year. This is what it all comes down to. She needs that right here.
This is a very precarious position for her, 7th place.
It certainly is. Remember, if she's 7th, she is right on the bubble. She may not compete in Barcelona.
So wouldn't it be great to see that routine in the Olympic Games? Very playful.
She's just having a good time out there. She loves it. That's her personality. That's Hillary. She brings it out on the floor with her, and it's fun.
The tumbling was great. It was right there. Everything that she wanted in this routine, everything blended so well. The choreography, and this was her middle pass, whipped through to a double back.
Good job. No, tough, Lily.
9-7, a good score for Hillary Grivich.
Good job. I'm proud of you.
And Bella, of course, telling her that she's a tough little kid. Remember, she has